All right. What's up, everyone?
Can't move over.
We're back again today with another Loners. We hope all of y'all have been doing well. And we just want to thank you for tuning in. And we have a huge announcement. Please just go to the vlog channel and like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Episode number 112.
Okay.
Roll that intro.
Yep.
But yeah, hope you all are doing well. Again, thank you guys for watching.
Ow. My fucking face hurt.
You know, it's been weird lately. Linda's been telling me, and I've been seeing stuff too, where she's saying like there's a lot of like brain-eating fungus or whatever in the ocean. Remember you were saying?
Flesh-eating.
But no, you said that it went into their brain.
That's a different thing. Like those like amoebas that are like when people are jumping off cliffs and things, and yeah, I don't know what the fuck they are, but they're some organism that just finds its way up to your brain, and then you end up being like pretty much like a vegetable.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then also a lot of warm waters, they have found like flesh-eating bacteria, and people have been either dying or getting amputations because of it. Fuck that shit. It's like if you have like a little scab,
I feel like
it can get inside of you, and that's scary as fuck.
It seems like this has been happening more lately.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not checking dates. I've just been hearing about it more recently.
Yeah.
And
the E. coli.
Oh yeah. That's fucking weird. Okay, so I don't know if anyone has heard, but I think like yesterday they recalled a bunch of like ground beef or ground meat, saying there's a possible E. coli outbreak. Yes.
I would think though that the
Go
places
America.
probably like where you guys are watching from, you guys probably have way different standards of importing and having meat.
Here's the thing, guys. 2 days ago, I think it was, or 2 or 3 days ago, I was seeing all these ads for like $1 hamburgers at like all these fast food places. I don't like meat for the most part. Occasionally I'll have a bite. But so imagine the amount of people that are going to eat all this ground beef, and then like literally a day later they're like, oh, just so everybody knows, don't eat ground beef. All I'm gonna say is if there's a zombie apocalypse in the next 6 months,
it came from that. Yeah.
I'm not saying there will be one, but if there is one, then there is one. Who knows?
So,
or if
right.
people start eating each other's faces like that one guy did with the bath salts a long time ago.
You're talking about Florida Man.
Florida's another world.
Anyone who's from Florida, they call him Florida Man. All right, so today we're going to do a video by our boy Nathaniel Drew. We've done one of his before. I forget.
We did?
Yeah, Is Life Better?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, so we're going to do one, and you guys can comment your opinion on this. But we're going to do one called Why Do Europeans Dislike Americans So Much? Yes. Can't wait to hear what they have to say. And I think he's in Paris in this video.
I'm trying to think. Oh, great. our biggest fans.
I know. All right,
wait, I'm trying to think. Hold on. We're going to give our predictions based off the amount of information we have absorbed over the past 6 months or however long we've been doing this, okay?
Okay.
They don't like that we are happy all the time, apparently, which...
I don't think that's one.
They think we're stupid.
Ignorant, I would say, yeah.
I know, I think they think we're stupid. Like, not even just ignorant. And that... Okay, so loud, happy, ignorant, and... we eat too much. I don't know if that one's really going to be on there, but those are like the main, I feel like. Okay.
All right, let's see.
I'm asking questions about how Europeans see Americans.
I think it's a third world country with a lot of money. Very negative.
Very negative.
Yeah, I don't see anything positive about America.
I think they're a bit stupid. American
well, you were right away.
They earn too much money with what they do. Like in Belgium, we have to work for our money, and they just make videos and that's it.
Oh my god. You know, I might be...
I wish, bitch. I fucking wish you can just hop on a TikTok and all of a sudden, that's it.
I mean, some people did. but
Totally. There's people in other countries who have as well.
yeah.
Granted, they're probably not receiving the same.
You think it's bigger in America?
I think that the brands that make TikTokers rich,
Is more over here?
that are the American brands,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're giving foreigners the same type of cut that they would Americans.
Got it.
But yeah, man, I wish it was that easy. Yeah.
Completely wrong about this, but I think it was a little bit cooler to be American when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think so too.
I've lived in Europe for several years now, and look, I've romanticized this continent quite a bit. I really like living here. But there's a funny feeling that I cannot shake, and I think it has to do with how Europeans view Americans, or how Europeans view me when they discover that I'm American. And it's not entirely positive. This feeling has not gone away even though I've been here for a few years now. And it's not hatred, it's more like negative undertones, offhand comments or jokes that are made, and it makes me feel not very cool. And by the way, I recognize not all Europeans dislike Americans. That is a massive generalization. But I'm bringing this up because it's been enough of a trend for me to confidently talk about this as something that's really happening in the world. I don't think it's just in my head. It just seems like when it comes to Europeans' view of Americans, there's a lot to dislike. I don't necessarily entirely disagree. I have plenty of my own criticisms about the United States and the way of life over there. And I think that all places, all societies merit criticism. That's how we get better. So this applies to everyone. But there's something deeper going on here that I want to explore. On a personal level, my own identity as an American, but also the identity of Americans on the global stage. We don't live in a bubble, and it turns out the whole world has opinions about us. Now, I have my own theories about what's going on here, but I thought I'd get to the root of the matter and ask Europeans themselves.
It makes me a little bit nervous talking to strangers, but I'm just gonna go for it.
What are the stereotypes?
That's a good question. Bah moi, quand je pense aux Américains, je pense à la bouffe et tout.
Dans quel sens? Le fast-food?
Ouais,
Ok.
tout ce qui est McDo. Ouais.
McDo? Ouais, ok.
Hamburger et tout.
Mais les Français adorent McDo.
Oui, bah, on y était il y a 2 minutes.
Donc c'est pas forcément négatif ça?
Non, non.
Ok.
Mais c'est l'image. Actually, I like.
We saw that video about
Yeah,
McDonald's
the
in France.
McDo.
Different experience
Yeah.
over there. Sorry, what?
I don't think they understand how different it is over here.
Oh, so well, she made it sound like it was a negative.
No.
thing.
He asked her,
like, what do you
and
think
she
about
said
the
no, not
food?
negative.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I mustn't.
They
like,
just
not read
picture
that
fast
part.
food.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But yeah, I really want to go to McDonald's in France.
Yeah, I
just so
know.
I can see the difference.
Americans
Okay.
because they are like very chill. America is like so expensive for good food. Like for like fruits and all this fresh stuff, it's like so expensive.
J'ai deux visions un peu.
Ok.
J'ai la version où ils sont trop cool et tout, et la version vraiment le beauf américain.
Do you think the stereotypes about Americans are true?
Kind of. I have a classmate that is American, and we are talking like about our traditional foods. And the American was like, my typical food is hamburger, ice cream, like the McDonald's one. And we are like, oh, so McDonald's is your typical food? She was like, yeah, kind of.
Could I just take a couple minutes to ask you a couple questions? It's okay if you don't have time, it's fine. Okay, all good. Have a nice day. The Americans don't have time for me. That's kind of funny. Would you mind if I asked you a couple questions?
Polarized.
Polarized.
Extremely polarized.
Yeah.
I will say that, like, people here, from my experience, we hate being approached with like an offer, I guess.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us, or it's normal here to be like, I'm busy, I have to go do this, like I don't have time to just stop and chit chat, like I don't.
Yeah.
And I think in other European countries, you guys value more of like small
Community,
talking and just like you're not in a rushed places a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it's like time is money.
Yeah.
More than the Netherlands.
Much more.
Feel younger people feel the same way or differently about American?
I think even stronger.
Even stronger?
I think they feel even stronger.
Yeah, the older people, I feel maybe thinking of the World War II and World War I, in which the Americans did a very good job by helping, because Europe was not doing very well.
Yeah.
connaissent que ce qui se passe dans leur pays. J'ai l'impression.
Parce que enfermés sur eux-mêmes.
Enfermés sur eux-mêmes.
C'est-à-dire que c'est pas contre eux, mais qu'ils s'intéressent pas trop aux autres pays.
They know about their own country, but not about like other stuff in the world. They're overrated.
They're overrated. How? Like they receive too much attention?
Yes. Too much hype.
Too much
on
hype.
the internet.
Are you also German?
Yes, I am.
And in Germany, you feel like German people have a positive view of Americans? Or
Not really.
no?
I think
Okay, so more negative.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you feel that there's been a change at all in terms of how Americans are viewed, like in the last 10, 15 years?
I think so, yes. Especially due to the Trump and the Tea Party things happening.
Yeah.
It got more polarized and that made it more negative in my view.
There's more that I'd like to say about why I believe this dynamic is happening, why Europeans see Americans in this way.
I will say that I do think a lot of people judge our country based off of our politicians, and they assume that we are all
the same way.
In the same, like we all are in the same party, I guess, politically.
And all have the same mindset and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, from my experience being American, stereotypes are always going to happen, but I can't think of another country that we will, I guess, judge the people of that country based off their leaders. If that makes sense.
I mainly judge it based off the experiences that I've had there, or the experiences I see of like everyday people online or something.
But a lot of stereotypes too. Like I've never been to France, but I hear that I can't imagine I'm going there and I'm greeted with open arms as an American. Yeah. Which may or may not be true. I don't know. But like people will share their experiences in different countries, and like you gotta take it with a grain of salt.
That's true.
All right, time for me to share some of my own personal theories here. Here's why I think it was maybe a little bit cooler to be American in the past. I was born in the 90s, maybe like some of you. And back in the 90s, it's not like the United States, or the world for that matter, didn't have its problems. It definitely did. You're not gonna get any of that classic, nostalgic, those were the days kind of thing from me. But one thing I think we can all agree on is that back in the 90s, the internet had not yet completely taken over our lives like it has now. And in my view, the internet feels like it's taken whatever problems already existed and made them bigger and louder. That might actually be what the internet is best at, the fast transmission of ideas and information, which in turn amplifies them. And there's another thing that the internet is really good at, which is that it is a canvas for less curated or filtered versions of that information or ideas. There are less gatekeepers, so anyone can say anything. My theory is that as time has gone on, and as the internet has played a bigger and bigger role in our lives, the world has been exposed.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like even older generations too are pretty addicted to social media, phones, being stimulated all the time.
Yeah, I think he also is trying to say that we're more aware of what's going on in other places.
Well, that too. So now you have
could
like
alter your perception of that place.
Well, yeah,
based off social media.
And I'm in the past, you could really only focus on a certain amount of things because you didn't have all the information to grab it. Like you couldn't go grab all that information like you can see now. So now it's like your brain has to be able to hold in all this other stuff that's going on, whereas before it didn't have to. You know what I mean? No.
You're saying.
So look, think about in the 80s, right? 80s or 90s, before the internet, right? Yeah. You literally could only think about something you see on the newspaper, something you hear on TV, and what you're doing.
You're not overstimulated with information.
Yeah, now your brain is like, it's like normal to be overstimulated with like hundreds of things happening and everything. You feel like you have to know about everything that's going on.
Yeah, and then like if you don't, people consider you as like you're just being ignorant.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
You should care, and it's like our brains can only give a fuck so much.
Yeah.
To a less curated version of the United States. You know, you had movies and TV and pop music reaching the entire world, but it wasn't like it is today with social media and even the news reaching so many more people. Nowadays, it feels like you cannot escape the news about the mass shootings that are constantly happening in the US,
that's
or
a big one,
insane election cycles. I think in some ways, the internet might have taken away some of our innocence, right? Some of our naivete. As a result, even more curated versions of culture, like the highly produced TV shows and movies are reflecting the things that we're seeing. The unintelligent or simple American is a very believable archetype and not a new one. You've got at least one and often more than one character that perfectly fits that archetype in pretty much all American sitcoms, from Friends to How I Met Your Mother. And there are plenty of shows that play off of this very intentionally. I think of South Park and Family Guy and The Simpsons. And internationally, the contrast...
Wait, South Park, they're Canadian.
I think, yeah, I guess you're right. I think they mean America in general, like North America.
Well, yeah, I know, whatever. Yeah.
Is even more stark. And it might just be me, but it does feel like the perception of Americans is deteriorating. I mean, I'm thinking about shows like Emily in Paris or The White Lotus. The White Lotus in particular blew me away because it felt so believable and oftentimes in a very depressing way. Clearly, Americans are not known for being refined or in touch with reality. This is particularly true of wealthy Americans. And why wouldn't Europeans feel this way? We are famously terrible at learning foreign languages. To many, we're seen as living in our own giant bubble.
A lot of people beforehand used to think like the US was like very cool and this really lovely place to go to, but I feel like everyone just thinks it's dangerous and that they don't care about their citizens. There's all these shootings going on, like their healthcare is horrible.
Okay, but like think about what she's saying. She's saying like they don't care about their citizens, their healthcare is horrible. It's like, okay, but you're speaking about our government. And at that point, that doesn't represent. Technically, it represents. They're supposed to represent us, but they don't actually represent.
So she's
the greater good.
She's speaking on the whole of America, not Americans.
Right, and I think that's most people, to be honest, in other places. But I mean, our country's so big. It's like we have within our country, we have stereotypes. We have East Coast, West Coast,
the middle
Northwest,
America.
the South, like. Yeah. We have our own stereotypes of each other. So I couldn't even imagine how like different a foreigner would feel.
Yeah.
Depending on where they would either visit or what they would see on TV.
Well, there's schooling's horrible.
So there's been a change.
I think it's always been like that. I think there's a change now because like social media is is making it more apparent.
America used to be, like the American dream, like a lot of them used to be a big thing. Like gun crime is getting like publicized a lot more, so I think like the narrative is changing a little bit.
Je vois l'Amérique comme une grande puissance mondiale. Et je les vois comme des capitalistes. En fait, si t'as de l'argent, tu vis bien, mais si t'as pas d'argent, y a personne pour t'aider. Marche ou crève.
In France, we say the Americans are big and fat, but I love America with the friends, the salary friends.
Donc il y a des côtés positifs et des côtés négatifs.
Ouais, c'est ça exactement. Globalement, les gens pensent ça, mais en même temps, tout le monde va aller à New York et tout le monde va aller aux États-Unis.
Ouais, d'accord, ok.
C'est ça en fait, ouais. Ils ont des préjugés, mais en même temps, c'est quand même un rêve d'y aller.
J'étais absolument ulcérée quand Trump était au pouvoir. De voir le comportement de cet homme, ça donne pas envie d'aller forcément dans ces conditions-là. Le fait que les gens soient très armés. J'ai l'impression que je me sentirais pas en sécurité.
Most people love Canadians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you clarify you're a Canadian, they're like...
They're like, oh, Canada, where are you from in Canada? For me, it's like a lot about the money, like the times I went to New York and it's like, winners.
Canada's not far off, I'm going to be honest, with...
But there's...
I feel like they're slowly headed in our direction.
Yeah, I think they're the most similar, yeah.
Losers and, you gotta make it and you gotta make loads of money and la 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 and then like if you don't have money you're like basically fucked. I would say extremes. It's like an extreme country, like very very rich, very poor, right. Eat very much, eat very 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 healthy, like extreme healthy, extreme like XXXL and McDonald's whatever.
Where are you from?
England.
Perfect. So I'm doing a video on
that lady nailed it.
Europeans' view of Americans.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any opinions about that.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay.
From Europe. No, we're not. We left the EU.
No, this is in Europe.
Do you feel like it's a more positive or a negative view of Americans?
I'd say negative. I feel like there's a lot going on there that's just a bit backwards.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we need to move along.
Yeah.
All the abortion laws coming in.
So politically.
And, like all the gun crimes, things like that. Like I imagine like most of the country is absolutely lovely, but there's some of the morals that are just a little bit off for me. So I struggle with that.
I agree, but I do think you all like proper chatty and that. and you're really energetic.
Yeah.
So it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But I
lovely
also
to
agree
meet
with that as well.
Yeah.
It's lovely to meet Americans.
Yeah.
Love meeting Americans.
Okay, so why am I so interested in this topic?
She's like, don't
Well, over the
shoot
last few
me.
years, I have shared my journey moving abroad and looking for a home. Because that home is not the United States. I just don't feel connected to that country. Not as a home, even though I'm coming to realize that it did shape me in many ways. I'm just trying to find my place, but as I've said before, different people will treat you in different ways based off of how they perceive you. The first time I experienced this was during my high school exchange in France when I was 16 years old. Obama was president, and regardless of your personal political opinions or feelings, he was seen in a generally positive light abroad. So in a weird way, even though I was not responsible for electing him, I wasn't even of age to vote, that scored me some cool points. And then on top of it, 16-year-old French kids living in a small town in the west of France thought it was cool that I rode a yellow bus to school and that I had my own personal locker in the United States. So I was benefiting from all these things that I didn't really control at all. Then I get to Argentina a few years later, and I see what it's like to be on the flip side, where the general sentiment was more negative. I'm generalizing here, but there's a bit of an anti-American streak in Argentina. And I think this comes down to the image that the United States has of being a bit of a bully. I mean, Che Guevara is a bit of an anti-American, anti-capitalist symbol, right? So that was a very different experience, and now I'm back in Europe, and I've been here for a while, and the perception has changed yet again.
90% of the Dutchmen think Trump is quite strange.
Yeah.
They think Republicans are also quite strange. And that Americans are very Puritan.
This might just be me,
Yeah.
but I do feel like
I've also seen like comments and other stuff of people that are like, they're conservatives in European and especially like Nordic countries, and they're conservatives and they believe in free healthcare and like free education and stuff like that. And I'm just like, God damn, if that's a conservative over there.
It's just ironic that we call people that are Republican conservative. Like, why can't you be conservative and have liberal views?
I think there are some, but they're not. People don't talk about them. They only talk about the extremes.
Because to me, conservative aligns with like religion.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like being pure and all that stuff.
I don't know about pure, but like they live their life off like their religion. To
Yeah.
me, most conservative people, right?
Yeah, I would think so. But I think then it
That's just
trickles
what I
into other
thought.
stuff.
Or obviously, what? Wait, what?
I just think then it gets confused with other things as being like Republican and stuff.
Right, and then
Yeah.
if like you have liberal views, like you're an atheist, anarchist, and you just like worship the devil,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's really weird in this country. Like the lady was saying earlier, it's a lot of like extreme.
It is very extreme.
Something going on.
It's one or the other for sure.
Yeah, like you have to die on a hill. It feels like, instead of just like
Being neutral or being in
Yeah.
the middle or something.
it's really bizarre. I will say that made it very hard for us. I mean, I could speak for myself during like COVID times, because like I felt like people were so divided, and you had to like take a stance on how you felt about like
Everything.
whether it was like police brutality or the COVID vaccine, like wearing a mask, not wearing like everything was so like, you're a selfish piece of shit if you don't do this or feel this way, and then
You're a delusional fucking
you're a delusional
liberal.
sheep if you felt. It's just like, can people just like live and
Yeah.
like you can worry about yourself? That'd be really cool, you know?
This might just be me, but I do feel like the image of Americans has deteriorated a little bit over the last 10 years. That might come down to the government that's currently in power. It might come down to social media. This is a very complex
Yeah.
thing, so I can't point to a single reason, but it's definitely a feeling that's there. Now, on a personal level, before I realized that this was going on, I was kind of unintentionally overcompensating. I felt like I needed to show that I wasn't the out-of-touch American in Europe. And the same thing happened to me in Argentina, where I was speaking with as much slang as I possibly could that I picked up over there, even when it was just way too much, when it was inappropriate. Que zarpado, boludo, está re piola, pibe, mal. Why was I acting like that? Was there a deeper need within me to be accepted by the people that I am surrounded by? To me, it's a little bit cringy, to behave that way because it's overcompensating for something, which in this case was the identity that people were associating with me. Whatever it was, the out of touch, stupid American, or whatever it might be. But that's actually a me problem, not a problem with the world. I've come to realize that people can think whatever they want about you. It doesn't change who you are. If people see me as yet another dumb American, it doesn't mean that's true. And also, it doesn't mean all Americans are that way. I think we all know this. We all know that individuals don't necessarily follow the stereotypes, but it's also how people operate in a world of 8 billion people. I can't blame people for having formulated an idea about the place that I'm from, considering how much culture is exported from that place. A part of me used to try to distance myself as much as possible from anything and everything American, but the truth is that at least some part of me, some piece of me, has been influenced by my upbringing there. There are a lot of things I don't like, but there are some things that I do. If genuinely being very enthusiastically excited about simple things is the dumb American thing to do, then fine, maybe I'm a dumb American sometimes, because that is something that comes naturally to me. I would rather be myself and accept the consequences than try to be someone that I'm not. And you know what? Everyone wants to feel welcome wherever they are, and especially in their home. But the reality is that that's actually a luxury, not a given. So many immigrants in the United States were never made to feel that way, despite the fact that the country benefited tremendously from all the immigration, all the people that risked their lives to go build something over there. Honestly, I don't have it that bad. Who am I kidding? I don't have it bad at all. It could be so much worse, and oftentimes it is. Exploring this topic has really given me quite a bit of empathy for the immigrants that are very poorly received all around the world. So, what do you think about everything I just shared here? What is your perception of Americans or of Europeans towards Americans? I would be curious to hear, because this is a giant open-ended topic and I invite all different opinions and perspectives on this. It's just something I love to explore. Also, apologies to all Latin Americans and Canadians who are Americans in their own right. I have decided to use that word in this video because there isn't really another word that has been widely adopted to still speak of the people of the United States. So I just used it for simplicity, and I hope that you can forgive me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all of you very soon.
Bye, guys. Oh my god, that was funny.
Oh man, he has cool videos. I like his presentation.
Yeah, I know, same. And like his perspective on things, because truly, if every country ran shit the same way and like was similar, no one would ever travel. There'd be no fucking reason to travel. There'd be, you know, okay?
Yeah. That's true. So what he was saying at the very end, we've gotten some like feedback about that too, because we'll say things like
America,
and they're like, but that's like Latin America is part of it, and you know, Canada's North America. Like
realistically,
like
you know what we mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
that's
you know
what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Obviously, if I don't know, it's just like most people say Canada or Latin America.
Yeah.
For the most part.
That was an interesting video though. It was cool to see. It was nice getting that perspective too though. But they did say things that we've kind of heard before and we kind of have an idea of, but I'm glad it wasn't as negative as I thought it was going to be.
Yep. It really, like, whatever. You know?
Yeah, it is what it is. We're not all bad.
We're all guilty of judging other cultures. Like, so we shouldn't
yeah.
take it offensively. It's just like, as long as you don't hate people, I think that's just the important thing. Just don't hate anybody.
I think just to be open to with everyone.
Culture. Yeah.
Be open with anyone and how they do things. Yeah.
I agree.
If you enjoyed that video, guys, like and subscribe, okay? And don't forget to jump over to our vlog channel. Check out the videos. We appreciate it.
And subscribe, please. We're trying to hit 1,000.
Let's do it. Let's do it together. Subscribe. All right. Peace.
Thank you.